Mehmed I, welcome back to another video on Sun God Productions. Now, before I begin, I gotta thank you guys for all the new views I've been getting. Also, I'm a quarter of the way to 100 subs, so let's fucking go, guys. Let's fucking go. Let's get to the video, shall we? So, my man, Mehmed I. Why do I love him so much? Well, for many reasons. One, he was considered the second founder of the Ottoman Empire. Why? Because he managed to reunite the Ottoman Empire. Duh. Anyway, so let's talk about who he was as a person. So, Mehmed was a pretty tough dude, okay? He was good with a sword and good with a bow, okay? And also, he was a good student, and something I love about him was that he was a wrestler just like me, okay? Maybe I could wrestle with him and see who's the better wrestler, me or Mehmed. I think I'm a better wrestler, to be honest. Yeah. But yet again, also Mehmed conquered the Karg Beylik at the age of 12, which is pretty impressive. And it even impressed his father, Bayezid the Thunderbolt, who made him the governor of Amasya because of that. So I think he takes the dub on that one. So yeah. Anyways, unfortunately though, this father-son relationship won't be able to last because, well, his father would be defeated by Timur in the Battle of Ankara in the year 1402. Now, Timur, being the bitch he was, wanted to just absolutely fuck up the Ottoman Empire, and the best way to do that is cause a civil war. So, he decided to make the young Mehmed, the youngest of the Sultan's sons, to be the new Sultan. So, yeah. And unfortunately, it would seem that the Ottoman Empire would never be able to rebuild. But, fortunately for Mehmed, that being a genius, he managed to defeat his three older brothers in 11 years and managed to reunite the empire in 1413, where he would be the new sultan. Now, Mehmed inherited a destroyed empire, and things got even worse after the Bedouin Rebellion, which would be finally put down in the year 1420. Meanwhile, on top of that, Mustafa, Mehmed's brother, who was captured by Timur in the Battle of Ankara, would be back and for his throne. And the Byzantines would this time help him. But, fortunately for Mehmed, being a smart young man, he managed to absolutely destroy his brother and save his throne. So, good for you, Mehmed. Now, unfortunately, Mehmed would not be able to enjoy his wonderful reign because he would eventually be paralyzed due to a hunting accident where he'd fall off his horse, and while on his deathbed, he said to his inner circle that if he were to die before his eldest son, Murad, came to meet him, and basically he'd give the news that he's the next sultan. If he died before then he wanted his death hidden so that basically no one would revolt and a civil war wouldn't happen. So, yeah. But, unfortunately, Mehmed would die before Murad would be able to come. In fact, it would be 42 days until Murad would finally meet his dead father. But, what would happen is actually very interesting, because there's a funny story where, actually, after Mehmed died, he had someone actually pretend that Mehmed was alive. Now, how did they fake this to the palace guards? Well, let's just say the palace guards were a little stupid. And also, they actually got a guy to actually manipulate his arms so that it seemed like that he was alive, you know? So, yeah, basically what they did was kind of fake that Mehmed was alive. And finally, once Murad would finally reach Edirne, his father's death would finally be public knowledge. So, yeah. Anyway, so Murad would be crowned in the year 1421, but unfortunately, his troubles would not be over because, oh my god, these fucking Byzantines, bro. The Byzantines would free Murad's uncle, Mustafa, and cause another civil war. And let's just say Murad won. I'm not going to get into the specifics because I have a lot of ground to cover. But yeah, Murad won this war, and he would take revenge on the Byzantines, or at least try to, by besieging Constantinople. But, unfortunately, for Murad, he would have to halt this because his brother, his younger brother, ironically also named Mustafa. Man, what's with Mustafas and always rebelling? But anyway, so ironically, his name was also Mustafa. He'd have a revolt, but he would also fail. Now, Murad was actually a teenager, but he actually showed a lot of restraint and maturity by not actually trying to go after Constantinople again, because instead, he realized that his empire's stability is more important than short-term success. So, instead, he would actually capture Thessaloniki in the year, and by 1439, Serbia would be under the Ottomans once again. After tons of Ottoman victories in Europe, though, unfortunately, oh my god, the fucking Hungarians, bro, they're always after the Ottomans. Anyways, the Hungarians would finally be like, okay, you know what, Poland? Let's have a crusade against the Ottomans. And along with some other nations, mostly, I believe it was, what's their face? Fucking Romania. I fucking hate you, Vlad the Impaler. Who would, I think we're going to talk about in the next episode. But anyways, Poland, Hungary, and Romania and some other European nations would have a crusade against the Ottomans. But thankfully for the Ottomans, they would win in the year 1444, and Murad, being tired of constant war and wanted to be known as a peaceful empire, emperor, not empire, he wanted to be known as a peaceful emperor, so he would retire and give his son, Mehmed II, as the next sultan. But, unfortunately, after his ascension to the throne, Europe, seeing that a young child, that Mehmed was at the time, was the now new sultan, they thought, you know what, let's take advantage of this kid, because, you know, let's bully little children, because that's always fun. You know, every time I hang out with my friends, I also bully children, because, you know, that's pretty fun. But, man oh man, you don't want to mess with Mehmed, because his father was still a capable leader, and so Mehmed would actually tell his father, Murad, that, hey, come and lead my troops, you lazy fuck. So that's what he would do. He'd come and lead his troops, and later he'd become the new sultan once again. Now, after this victory, the Europeans thought, you know what, how about poke the bear even more? Or in this case, you can say the turkey. Funny joke. Anyways, so they decided just to poke the wolf. Okay, see, that time I got your national animal right. But anyway, so they decided to poke the wolf, and the wolf was not very happy, and they would absolutely smash the Europeans in the Second Battle of Kosovo, and then Murad would die in 1451, and that would actually perfectly set up the Ottomans to capture Constantinople, which the new sultan, now a little bit older, a little bit wiser, Mehmed II would do. And that, though, I'm unfortunately going to have to cover another video because, well, this video is getting long enough. I'm getting tired. And yeah, you better subscribe or you're going to the gulag. Peace.